Hey, there are many accountants who probably think that that's very sexy.
Well, they're wrong.
I don't think any accountant thinks their job is sexy.
Math is not sexy. There's nothing about math that is sexy. Math people are dead to me.
Here we go again, offending the math.
Hi guys, welcome to Fess Up. I am Amy Fess, the oldest Fess.
I'm Marissa, the middlest Fess.
And I'm Ina, the youngest Fess. I am also a human disaster.
What happened to you, Ina?
Well, you see, I went to a restaurant with Marissa yesterday and walked in, we sat down, having a good time, you know, and our dad was also there and he was sitting across from me. So we were playing the sugar packet game.
Explain this for the fans, yes.
The sugar packet game, which I beat Dad at the second time, just want everyone to know.
Heck yeah.
You take one of those sugar packets from the table that everyone uses for their coffee and nothing else, and basically you push it with your fingers, kind of like shuffleboard, and your aim is to get it to hang off the edge of the table without falling, and that gets you a point. And then the other person's trying to get it at the edge that you're on, so you're across from each other at the table. And basically you just set a number of points to be the winner. We were doing 5 because it was kind of quick. And Dad taunted me the first time, but then I beat him in his smug little face.
That man.
Yes, first Marissa played him, she lost the first time, and then I played him in the second game and I lost miserably. And then Marissa played him again, and at this point I was really angry because, you know, he is a sore winner.
Yes, he is.
He is braggalicious, as you might want to say.
Yes, he is. So I was pretty angry at this point, and so Marissa goes to play him again, and she decimated him. She got like 4 right away.
Wow.
3 in a row, and then like 1 round of not, and then 4, and then it was just amazing. Dad only got, I think, 1, and so obviously
I beat him 5-1.
At this point, I was very much team Marissa since both of us had lost our previous games, and I was annoyed with Dad. So I'm cheering. I'm literally going wah 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 whenever Dad misses.
Oh man.
And then Marissa gears up and she gets the winning point right as the waitress comes, and we're banging on the table and we're cheering.
We're literally cheering.
And the waitress looked like we were crazy people.
You are.
But she seemed amused by it. Like this is a fun waitress. I did like her.
Okay, good.
She laughed.
And so then Dad decided to be more annoying because, you know, it's not whether you win or lose.
It's how you play the game.
Yeah.
That's our uncle's favorite, most famous quote.
Yeah.
And then at this point, I was like, well, I'm sitting across from him, so I'm going to keep tapping him repeatedly with my toe in the leg, which always gets really annoying. And so then he started to retaliate.
Oh,
and
no.
See, he was kicking me. So I put one of my feet up on the stool, and then he captured my other foot between his legs, and so it was a big problem.
It was under the table stuck?
Yes, under the table stuck.
That's what I said. I was like, so he has you in an easy stuck.
Yes.
Which is a childhood game we played, not getting into that right now.
Yeah.
And so yes, I was in a stuck. It was quite the predicament. And then I finally freed myself. However, I had forgotten at this point that my phone was on my lap. And so...
Oh, no.
So when I jerked my leg to put it up on the seat with the other leg, my phone managed to do the perfect swan dive into between the booth and the wall.
Oh, no.
And there was...
thinnest crevice I've ever seen.
My finger got stuck in it.
It was so funny. As soon as I said she was in a stuck, her phone got into a really hard stuck.
Oh, no.
And so,
which I pointed out.
like, this crack was skinnier than my finger, and I have very small fingers. Like, my phone is just really
Yeah,
skinny.
you do.
So I couldn't even get my...
You are essentially a toothpick human.
Do you not have a pop socket?
No, it broke off. Yeah, so my phone slid down there perfectly, nestled nicely at the bottom. I couldn't even see it because it was so dark in this abyss of a crevice.
Oh my.
And
I made her crawl under the table to see if she could get it from there, but it wasn't working.
right. And in
then-
doing so, I bumped my head on the table twice.
She did.
Wow.
And so we're looking for this thing. It's really gross on that floor because there's lots of crumbs and stuff.
Of course.
And I can't see where my phone is, so I need Dad's phone for a flashlight. And Dad is just sitting here quietly, smugly thinking that
Smirking.
I got what was coming to me.
Oh my god.
He didn't say that.
He didn't
He
need
just
to.
had this Cheshire cat grin on his face, and he was just sitting there giggling.
Yes.
Oh man, I know
so-
that giggle.
Yes.
At this point, we take a menu and we try to like scrape the phone out because it was the only thing that would fit in there.
It
And
just shoved
only
it
went
deeper to the so deep that we couldn't see it anymore, even with the flashlight.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so at this point the waitress is back and I'm under the table wearing a dress and I have like nude shorts on, so it looks like I'm literally commando under this dress, and I'm pretty sure she could see my butt, so that was probably very awkward.
good.
She was like, nakedness, even though I wasn't naked.
I'm pretty sure
And
the
so then
waitress wasn't
I-
back at this point. There was some other waiter that
Oh, yeah,
had
yeah.
arrived, and then I
Yes.
told him that about what was happening, and he tried to like lift the seat off of the bench to get under it because I guess it was hollow underneath, but he quickly realized that we didn't mean it went under the bench. We meant it was between the bench and the wall, and there was like a piece of wood that divided it, and Dad and I started to worry that like they were gonna need to like saw it out, like
Oh my
actually
God.
destroy their bench to get to it. So this waiter goes and gets the waitress to come out.
He's like, this is not my problem.
So the waitress says that we can pull the booth out. And so we were like, oh, perfect. But the catch was that there was a couple sitting on the other side of that bench. So we had to wait for them to finish their meal before we could do this.
So we ate in like silence. We didn't say anything because we were all too busy laughing about
There was just nervous laughter the whole time.
Well, you can't, because Dad will just say, Dad will ruin you if you say something.
the only thing Dad would say is, I didn't say anything.
Of course, that's how he would ruin you.
And so I kept breaking out into the most nervous, ridiculous laughter every 2 seconds. And so we get our food, so we decide to eat it because we have to wait for the other people to be done anyway. So the food was delicious. Anyway, that's not really relevant. So they finally get up, but we're not done with our food yet. So, and it was like before like a dinner rush, so it's not like they immediately needed someone to be seated at the other table. So we were like, we'll just finish our food. So we finished the food, and then I realized, I was like, wait, what if we can't get my phone? I realized what Marissa and Dad had been thinking earlier, like, what if we have to get out the saw and rip up this restaurant for my phone? And I was like, oh no. And then I was like, well, maybe we'll have to come back tomorrow. Then I realized the worst thing of all.
Uh-oh.
I had an alarm set for 5:07 specifically.
Why? 5:07?
PM.
Why?
Because there's something I've been putting off that I really shouldn't be putting off. It's like an email thing I need to send. Anyway, I've been putting it off for a while. So every time I see that the alarm's about to go off, I switch it to a later time in the day, and I'm like, I'll do it then. Don't be like me.
Oh, oh no.
So it's 5:07, and I'm like, oh god, it's 4:30. If they can't get my phone out in in like a half an hour, my phone is going to start having an alarm go off every 5 minutes. Every 10 minutes, sorry. Every 10 minutes.
Until it dies.
And no one can reach this thing. And this is in a restaurant.
In a public restaurant.
So it's just going to keep doing that. This alarm is not going to stop. So I realized I was about to commit what can basically only be termed as social terrorism.
Social terrorism.
By having a very large alarm go off at this restaurant.
Oh my god!
For forever. Luckily, this did not actually end up happening because once Marissa and I finished our food...
Because Marissa is a savior and pulled the bench out.
Yes, Marissa pulled the bench out and we were able to rescue the phone. But it was quite the time.
But we were that close to having a social terrorist in the family. No one would have been able to eat at that restaurant. Like, you would have ruined their whole day.
I know. I would have ruined their day, their whole business.
Could have, like, sued you
I
or
know.
something.
And if they had to rip up the seats, they probably could have sued me for the damages they had to use to get it to the phone. I don't know. Oh,
They could have thrown you in jail.
I mean, if you want to talk about social terrorism in the an alarm going off and annoying everybody way, that's happened to me a lot. Back when I was in college, my birth control alarm, now I kind of like just know when to take it, but like my birth control alarm in college was set to be Avenue Q's. You could be as loud as the hell you want when you're making love, because I thought that was appropriate. And I would set it for 10:30 because I'm like, I'm almost always home at 10:30, but I'm not asleep yet, so I can like take the pill, it'll be fine, whatever. There were some times that I wasn't home at 10:30 and I would forget about it, and then all of a sudden you just hear out of nowhere that song, and that song starts with sex noises. They're like, oh yeah, oh my god, and that's how the song starts. So that once happened because it was back when I still carried my iTouch around, so it was my iTouch doing it. So like this is the worst instance. I went into a Broadway show, and in the sad part of the scene, at the very end of the show, my alarm went off because I had turned off my phone, but I didn't remember that I had my iTouch because I only used that shit for my alarm.
Oh my god.
Because I had my music on it. Yeah. So that went off in the middle of the show. But luckily, like, only like the people directly around me who are my friends really heard, because an iTouch isn't as loud as an actual Broadway show, but it definitely happened. And I still think about this sometimes. In the late of the night.
You never told me that.
I swear this is another one. I swear I've told people.
So Amy actually did commit social terrorism.
I did commit social terrorism. Like, if that's what social terrorism is, I've committed it. With, you can be as loud as the hell you want when you're making love from Avenue Q.
I mean, if we're talking about distracting people in theaters, I'm the worst social terrorist of them all, because every time, you guys know this, every time I go to the movies or even watch a movie at home, I react so viscerally and loudly. So like anytime anything happens, I'm like like all the time. I'm like always screaming or laughing or like shouting at the TV.
There was one time I did that.
Every time I do that, like, there's at least one time every time I go to the movies where the entire audience will just laugh at me because I'm so annoying.
There was one specific time I remember doing that, and it was an especially glorious moment. It was that Transformers movie where Optimus died. And I literally screamed and reached towards the TV, and I was like, Optimus! I was very upset. Optimus Prime is bae.
Amy has a Transformer kink.
Yep, that's me.
We know.
Just really love my men to turn into cars.
That's why she needs a man to drive her around in himself.
But you don't even have a driver's license.
Ooh, you don't need a driver's license to ride those men.
All right, so that's how I am a human disaster.
You are a human disaster, but you didn't need to tell me a story for me to know that. In case you forgot, Fess Up is a show. Us sisters talk about the funniest and randomest conversation starter questions that we could come up with. Questions like this. What Dungeons & Dragons alignment are you?
Chaotic good.
I'm a lawful good.
I feel like I'm a true neutral.
You are. Amy is true neutral. She
Yeah.
she really doesn't care what she's supposed to do. She just does what she wants.
I'm 100% like gonna do the thing that I'm gonna do. And I don't, it's like sometimes I'm hella chaotic, sometimes I'm like hella lawful, and it just depends on my current moment, which is why I think I'm true neutral, because I'll just do everything equally.
It's true. I'm chaotic good because most of the time I try to be a good person and I'm a very nice person, but I also do whatever I want in a way. And I'm kind of a crazy person.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I mean, just for the craziness alone, I think I'm a chaotic good.
I'm definitely lawful good.
Yeah.
I am a rule follower. It's boring, I know, but I got that anxiety that's like, we's not getting in trouble.
She's a Captain America Mary Sue.
No, that's true.
Basically. And I just need to be positive in people's lives. I need to help people. I need to be good. Like, I need to be, I don't know. I need to be a good person.
Karina lives to serve.
I do.
Now, that's the fact that you say I need to be a good person is very lawful good of you.
Exactly.
It is.
And, life is so unnerving for a servant who's not serving. So.
LOL. All right, I'm going to follow that question up with what D&D class would you be?
This is a good question.
I'm a bard.
You are. You're a bard for sure.
You're like the only non-sexual bard that exists. I feel like a lot of bards end up being like, they're like always trying to bang all the characters, but not you. You're the only one that's like actually just in it for the music.
Music and making you feel good.
Oh, so you are in it for the sex.
No! Feel good like happy. I guess this explains why I'm doing the major I am.
When I made a character, I made a rogue, and even though that's not a very good character, like it's not a chaotic good person, I feel like I kind of would be a rogue because I'm like, if I were living in a D&D world, right, where I like there's chaos and violence and stuff, I feel like I would give in to my more chaotic side and just go full rogue on everybody.
Yeah, I could see that. I have a hard time thinking of mine. And there was one time I was like the most recent time I was asked to join a D&D campaign, I was trying to think of what character I would make, and I also couldn't come up with it. But I feel like I could go a lot of ways. I mean, I want to say that I am either some kind of fighting class or some kind of like wizard class.
I say you're a cleric and your god is Danny DeVito.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I was about to say, you're definitely more magical, I think.
I
No,
feel
yeah,
like I would definitely
magic.
use magic to do like dumb shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do,
Dumb
whisper.
stuff that would serve you only.
Oh yeah, you know I'd have the fire powers too.
Yeah. You're a wizard, Amy.
You're a wizard, Amy. So I have this new bit. It's called Thesaurus. And we just have to come up with a couple random words. We're going to come up with new names for these words. Then we have to use them through the rest of the podcast. Let's do 3 random words.
Okay. Let's make up a word for TV.
A TV is kind of a magical light box. Or if you're young, Karina, it's a magical light box that brings dead actors back to life.
So it's actually a necromancer's... Oh, we missed an opportunity. You should have been a necromancer for your D&D class. Oh, man. Oh, man. Anyway,
It's like the electric stage.
The electric stage of necromancy.
the necromancer's stage.
Okay.
Wait, which one are we going with?
But whichever one you want.
Necromancer's stage. That's the TV now.
All right, the necromancer stage.
Yes.
How about arm?
Bendy flesh stick.
Yep.
Okay, someone else.
Harmonica.
You mean the evil flute?
The evil flute! I love it! I love it! I love it! I love it! We got the Necromancer stage, what was the Grabby what?
The Grabby Stick.
The Grabby Stick. Necromancer stage, the Grabby Stick, and the Evil Flute. This is excellent.
Good, excellent.
Good, excellent! Good, excellent! All right. So I have a question, unless somebody else wants to ask a question.
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
Well,
Ask nicely.
No.
are we sponsored by Klondike?
No, I would ask nicely for a Klondike bar. That's what I would do for one.
I would drive all the way to the Skillman's house and
ask nicely.
get mad at them if they don't have Klondike bars until they go get some so that I can have one and then burp and say pig slop jerk mental.
That is a lot for just the Klondike bar.
I would slap my friend's enemies for a Klondike bar.
With your Grabby Stick?
With my Grabby Stick.
I would search for videos on my Necromancer's stage of Evil Flutes playing All-Star by Smash Mouth over and over again for a Klondike bar.
I would steal Klondike bars from the store for a Klondike bar. I plead the fifth.
I plead the fifth.
I plead the second. Pew!
Oh, that's controversial.
All right, guys. This is a fun question that I'm very excited about. What tattoo would you give your sisters that they would genuinely enjoy?
Oh, man.
Well, I put my face on both of their butt cheeks.
I said genuinely enjoy. There is a time for these ones. There's a time for that. I have follow-ups to this question.
You're saying you wouldn't enjoy my face on your butt?
No, I want your face on my mid-grabby arm.
I wouldn't enjoy your face anywhere.
I want it on my
It's a Grabby Stick.
My Grabby Stick. That's not a good way to say forearm. My lower Grabby Stick. That's where I want your face.
Well, if we're gonna be serious, then...
Well, this first one is not necessarily serious, but less silly because I have silly ones. There are follow-ups.
I would give Karina a rainbow giraffe drawn from music notes and other music symbols.
Ooh, like watercolor?
Aw.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yes. That would be cool. Wow, that makes my answer for Amy really sad.
Oh.
I was gonna say I'd give her the Geico money.
I would genuinely enjoy the Geico money.
The Geico money on your ankle.
He's gotta be like along the side of my foot, because he would fit so perfectly there.
Oh, yes.
I always feel like somebody's watching me. I would probably take like a cool quote from Marissa, something like the Lord of the Rings quote, and put it in like elven font.
You better pick a good one.
There's a lot of good ones in Lord of the Rings. It's very easy.
But would you make sure it's not in Sindarin, though? Because I don't like Sindarin. I like Quenya. And if anyone knows what I'm talking about, good for you.
Is that a font or is that Elvish?
A font!
Those are two different writing systems in Elvish.
I wasn't going to have them write it in Elvish.
Oh, you weren't?
I love that Amy asks, is it a font?
No, I'm a font nerd. No, I was going to, in like, you know, like Lord of the Rings has that specific fancy font.
Okay.
Oh.
I was talking about font, not like in one of the Lord of the Rings languages.
There are two types of people. One who talks about fonts and one who talks about other languages that are made up.
And we're both nerds.
Yes, one who knows how to write in another language that's made up. And one that can identify any font and judge it accordingly.
Okay, so like everybody got one. That's probably fine. The next one is, what tattoo would you give that they would hate?
This is a lot easier of a question, but at the same time it's harder because I want to give like the most, like the worst possible.
This question was inspired by those tattoo shows, that like tattoo show that they have where I think Snooki is a host on it, where they like the two people
Oh my god.
go and get tattoos for each other.
They give each other things that they don't like
Yeah.
to settle like an argument, but it just creates more problems.
Some of them do. I watched one where they literally gave them the worst tattoos. Like, she gave him one where he was literally fucking a car on a tattoo, and then he gave her one that was like, her is like a sexy sassy kitty, and she was like, give me that pussy or something like that, and they both loved it. They were like, this is the best thing that's ever happened. I was like, what?
Oh my god.
So anyway, I want to know, like, bad tattoos because of that show.
Okay.
I would tattoo, this is 100% easy. Ina, you would 100% get a tattoo of SpongeBob with your face, and it would say, spongy in a square face.
Amy, I would give you, in beautiful font, unlike a pond, I would make it like a pond that looks very beautiful, very Monet. But then, in script, I'll have written, in Comic Sans,
Uh-oh.
I'll be your candle on the water.
I fucking hate you.
I'll be
Don't sing it on this podcast. I hate you. I'm taking off my headphones until you're done.
Amy hates that song for no reason.
Because it's an awful fucking song. No, it's an awful song.
It's a fantastic song.
It's the song equivalent of nails on a chalkboard.
Well, that's your tattoo. You're welcome.
I hate you.
What's mine, Karina? See, look, I win. Like, I did so good.
Yeah, no, I can't top that. I was thinking a fleur-de-lis with a cartoon face on it, and it's peeing.
Ina, I want to collaborate with you. Can it be a fleur-de-lis, and then beneath it, it says you plus me equals no more?
Yes, that.
Oh my gosh. Well, I have to tell you guys then, all you listeners out there, the story of you plus me equals no more. When I was younger, Amy and I were both, well, I think all of us were, on this website called Virtual Magic Kingdom that used to exist and was fantastic. Anyway.
VMK!
I was like... We were all pretty young or whatever, and everyone wanted a boyfriend on VMK. That's like all anyone wanted. So I finally got one. He was my first boyfriend or whatever. And I had him for all of like 1 hour, and I told Amy about it, and she was like, what? I have to meet him. So she showed up with her avatar, and her avatar, she was wearing things that I could have been wearing. Like, I also owned them. There was nothing particularly special about what she was wearing.
And also, like, your face, you could have changed to be my avatar's face. It's not like...
Right. She wasn't wearing anything that made her, like, exclusive or something. But for some reason, the second he saw you, he, like, asked to go see, like, your room or whatever, and you guys left, and he sent me a message that said, you plus me equals no more.
Your first breakup. And when you get married, I will somehow grab the microphone so I can give a speech that involves you plus me equals no more.
As you should. Also, I just hate fleur-de-lis because they don't look anything like lilies, and I hate that.
The last part of this question is, what stupid tattoo would you give them that they actually would love?
Okay, I have one for Amy. And
yes.
I would give you a Tom Selleck mustache on your finger, so you can put it up to under your nose, upon your pof.
Yes!
Just bring that grabby stick up to your face and on your pof, and then, you know, it's got that famous mustache from the Necromancer stage, Tom Selleck's.
Excellent. I would enjoy this. I love me some mustache. You know what I would do for Ina? Ina, remember that picture that I sent you? The legs on the bus go step, step, step.
Yes, because I sent it to you first once a long time ago.
Yes, that's definitely the meme that describes your sense of humor 100%. And I would tattoo that bus on you.
The legs on the bus go step, step, step.
That meme deeply disturbs me.
That is 100% Ina's whole soul, though. Are you saying that Ina's whole soul disturbs you?
Yeah, it's pretty disturbing.
Okay, yeah.
I would get Marissa a tattoo of Tom Holland in drag doing the Umbrella music video.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's everything I've ever wanted. Actually, okay, I've never wanted a tattoo in my life, but I would want that as a tattoo.
Heck yeah.
Genuinely. For all those listeners out there, especially because it's Pride Month, I'm a very pansexual person, and I like people of all genders and in-betweens. And seeing Tom Holland in drag turns me on greatly.
All right.
Heck yeah. I heard we had a question from a listener. Marissa, do you know anything about that?
We do have a question from a listener. We have a question from, on Instagram, @CatDeloss. And this question is, if you were Sims 1 characters, what would your traits be? And for anyone that does not remember Sims 1 or never played it, basically, in order to do traits, there were 5 categories: neat, outgoing, active, playful, and nice. And everybody has 25 points to distribute between those categories. No more, no less.
Dun, dun, dun.
Actually, I don't know if you could do less, but we're not doing less here.
I think you could do less.
You probably could.
I think Mr. No-No got 1s on everything.
Oh, you're right.
Mr. No-No!
Mr. No-No was the best sim I ever made on Sims 1. He was a grumpy old man who lived in a small pink house with a bunch of cats.
That's honestly my goal in life,
Yes.
is to have a bunch of cats in a small pink house.
So if I were on Sims 1 and was making my traits, I would probably only have 2 points for neat. Probably maybe 4 points for outgoing. That's a little generous, but we'll go there. Because I can be really outgoing once I'm comfortable in a situation, but other than that, I'm like not. So like, especially not with strangers. Probably only like 3 for active. I'd probably put about 9 points in playful, because that's pretty much the majority of my personality. And then I guess that leaves 7 for nice, which I also agree with. Chaotic good. I am more playful than nice.
Well, I am a lawful good, and so my nice is a full-on 8.
Ooh.
My playful is definitely more of a 7. I'm definitely more nice than playful. I mean, not that I'm not playful, but I try to be nice. Anyway,
I try to be nice.
I try to be nice.
Penelope von Schweetz, my friends.
And then, for active, we're gonna give it a straight up 1.
That's accurate.
I like to sit on the couch, and I like to walk from my bed to the couch to sit on it, and vice versa. Don't be like me, kids. And then outgoing is probably more of a 6, because I trained myself how to do it. Naturally, like, when I was a kid, it probably would have been more of a 3. And then, so that leaves 3 for neat, which is very accurate, because I can clean sometimes, but it never lasts long.
So here's the thing. I have to have 10 for outgoing.
That's true.
I have to.
Yeah.
The perfect 10 for outgoing.
That's like the majority of your personality is just being outgoing.
Yeah. Like, I was the kid, as a kid, who would just go up to people and be like, you want to be my friend? Like, I'm outgoing to the core.
Yeah, like back when you were a child, our parents tell us that like every time you saw anyone in a store, you said hi to like every single passerby. You were just, hi.
Yeah. Hi. So the thing is, I have to have a perfect 10 for outgoing, so it doesn't give me a whole lot of room for anything else. So I tried to, my second highest would be playful, and I put 7 there.
Ooh, you're really limited now.
Yeah, you can fudge that a couple different ways, but next score is nice, and that only left 4 for nice, because I gave myself, even though I'm nicer than a 4, but like in Sims,
I would probably give you a 6 playful and a 5 nice, because...
Okay. Either way.
But, yeah. Either way.
And then neat and active are both 2s, because I mean, like, you could probably, like, I don't know, I'm kind of neat, and can be active sometimes, but like they're definitely not core parts of my soul. So those ended up being very low, because outgoing just has to be a 10. I have not, like, it has to be a perfect 10.
You know what else is a perfect 10?
Me. Wow. Nope. Wrong.
You know who is a perfect 10?
Me.
Sir Perzelot, our cat, who is staring at me right now.
Legolas is my cat, and he's not pleased that you called a different cat a perfect 10.
Legolas is also my cat. Okay, Legolas is also a perfect 10.
Okay, thank you.
They are both perfect 10s.
They both are. That's true.
Perfect cats.
I love them. All right, guys. I have a very important question.
Ask away.
What 2 Disney villains are we?
Oh, man.
Well, I already know one for Marissa.
Oh, I know one for Amy, definitely.
Speak it.
Marissa is 100% Captain Hook.
Heck yeah.
That's really, really true.
I mean, honestly, if one of her grabby sticks actually had a hook on them, I wouldn't be that surprised.
You know, here's the thing. That scene with Smee shaving the seagull, that, like, did things to me. I don't know. I still think about that sometimes.
Amy Smee.
That was a weird scene for me to watch in like a confusing way. It was like a weird, maybe an ASMR kind of a way. I don't know. There was like a thing about that scene that I was just like, I hate it, but I love it. And I also feel like weird things from it. Yeah.
Disturbing ASMR.
Disturbing ASMR. But like I had to watch it. That scene was on. I was like, let's watch. Anyway, that's not relevant. Marissa is Captain Hook. Do you want to like explain to the people why?
I mean, not only does she slightly resemble him not in the like the face, but in the face shape and the somewhat bushy but fabulous hair.
Yeah.
He wears red. That's Marissa's favorite color. And
He's
also
really flamboyant.
He is flamboyant. And he is very, very much easy to anger.
This is true, yeah. And holds grudges.
Yes. He also talks a big game and tries to follow it up, but in the end,
He's a codfish.
he has weaknesses like that crocodile.
True. I approve.
Also, Marissa wishes she had always stayed a child. Who doesn't, though?
He holds grudges
Yeah, holds grudges.
against Peter Pan, who is someone that I actually do not like.
Marissa has a lot of feelings about Peter Pan. We don't have time to unpack that.
We don't.
Oh, this is for another episode.
Message us if you want to know more.
I feel like Marissa also could be Maleficent.
I was going to say Amy was Maleficent.
Really?
Oh.
Yes, because if someone didn't invite you to a party, you sure as heck would turn into a dragon and crash anyway.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know. I feel like Amy would actually cry.
I don't know that I would like...
And she'd curse a baby.
I don't think I would curse a baby.
Now, here's the thing. I think that's exactly what I would do.
Yeah, exactly. I think Marissa would be the one to curse a baby.
That's actually true.
I would curse a baby if someone made me mad enough.
You'd be like, poop's life for you. Poop's life for this baby.
Everybody listening, don't cross me or I'll curse your babies.
With poop's lives.
What?
Yeah, Marissa does curse people on the reg.
I do. I curse people with poop.
Yes.
People
That's
call me the
true.
poop fairy because of it. See, but what it means is like if I give someone a poop or a poop's giving or a poop's life, it's basically giving someone explosive diarrhea, like painful explosive diarrhea for however amount of time that I specify. So poop's giving, that's just on a Thanksgiving or whatever, etc., etc.
It's a beautiful system.
It's an intricate system.
It's a delicate balance. It's a delicate ecosystem. But yeah, I think Marissa is a healthy mix of Captain Hook and Maleficent.
Amy is Hades.
Hell yeah. That's number
That's
one.
true.
She is Hades.
Hell yeah.
That is true.
Super comedic. She loves fire.
Hell yeah.
Very flamboyant.
Very.
Very sarcastic.
Like always
Yes.
does the most. Very extra.
always does the most. And he's also a man that likes to roast. Very Amy. Beyond him, I start having trouble here because a lot of the people I think that maybe they could be Amy is biased in my head because I just know that she loves those villains. Because Amy loves a lot of villains. She is a villain sympathizer.
Exactly.
This is true. I love a lot of villains. I, like, really in my soul wish I could be a villain, but I'm too nice. But I want to play one so bad.
You're not too nice according to your Sims stats.
No, my Sim stat, I'm a villain already on Sims.
True.
I'm a very friendly villain. Like Hans, except I'm not really a Hans.
You're not a Hans.
No.
But I'm that kind of villain that, like, I'm gonna be your best friend, and then evil.
True. So in that way, maybe you're scarred because you act like you love Simba or whatever friend on Sims, but really, you're actively plotting against them in a Shakespearean way.
Amy does love her Shakespeare.
I do love Shakespeare.
Plus, he's got a wonderful head of hair.
Oh, and he's also very fabulous, if you're going by my fabulosity.
He struts around. He is fabulous.
He's definitely got that sense of humor that is dry, but also hilarious. It's the Rochester dry humor.
Yes. I do often think in this podcast that I'm surrounded by idiots.
You're correct.
But little does she realize she's the biggest idiot of them all.
Whoa.
Dun dun dun. Also true. Okay, Ina's turn.
This is hard.
Because I'm so nice?
I've been trying to think of Ina this whole time.
Yeah, see, my problem is, for some reason, popping into my head is the Queen of Hearts.
What?
I'm not sure why. I think I think that it makes no sense and is not an accurate description of you, but it's all I can think of right now.
I have one that's popping into my head that's not an active description either, which is Mother Gothel, but that's not Ina either.
That's not her either, no. Maybe it's time to go back to the Necromancer stage. That's right, I brought it back.
Necromancer stage.
Necromancer stage.
You know what, though? Ina is a necromancer. You know who is also kind of a necromancer? Dr. Facilier.
He is.
Is Ina Dr. Facilier?
Maybe, because she is very, very clever and witty.
Yes.
And punny.
Yes.
So she would be able to come up with those tricky little magical schemes.
It's
like,
the green.
Oh, you want the green, and then turns you into a frog.
True.
Knowing full well you meant money, but she tricked you.
Exactly. No, this is true. And she's tall and skinny and lanky, like Dr. Facilier.
She is. She is.
I do agree with that.
Ina, do you have friends on the other side?
You know it.
Yeah, she's friends with all the people in the Necromancer stage.
That's why I have to bring him back so I can see him once in a while. Necromancy.
She's got friends on the other side.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I think Dr. Facilier.
Who else? We need someone a little more lighthearted to top it off.
Dennis Quaid? A villain?
Dennis Quaid, a villain?
Dennis Quaid, a villain?
Ooh. What about Georgette?
Oh my god.
Gosh, I mean,
maybe.
Perfect isn't easy, but it's me.
Karina does get a full head sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's true.
She fancies herself a model, which is definitely a Georgette thing. Georgette, a purebred.
But she's also like Georgette is not the main villain in that movie. She's just like...
Georgette is more of an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Deep down, she's not a bad girl. And I think that's Ina.
That is Ina. Like, Ina is not super... Like, in order to be a villain, Ina has to have, like, some hefty doses of, like, good intentions in there. And I feel like Georgette has those, like, good motivations. But she's, like, just on the wrong side.
Yes, mainly for herself, but I think... I think maybe if Ina got her values more in order and cared about herself a little more above other people, she could turn into Georgette.
Yeah.
If I were more narcissistic.
All right. This question is from my good friend Liz at Pale Blue Ink on Instagram, though she did not ask me this question through Instagram. She asked me this question in person and I stole it. But her Instagram is Pale Blue Ink. She asks, what is the best safe word?
That's a really good question that I've never thought about.
I know, right?
I've especially never thought about it.
I mean, I think what goes into it is it's gotta be a word that you wouldn't use for any other reason. So it's gotta be super random.
Exactly. It's gotta be something you don't know. It's gotta be something easy enough to say that you could say it in the throes of passion without thinking too hard, but also it has to be something that can be said that won't necessarily ruin the mood.
That's true.
Like, you don't want to say vomit chunks because then that's a boner kill immediately. Like,
it's so gross.
like the safe word, you don't necessarily want to stop everything. You just want to stop that one thing that's happening right now.
Perhaps, to fulfill our original challenge, Evil Flutes.
Evil Flute! Just harmonica!
Harmonica! No one talks about harmonicas
You're right.
in pretty much any context, let alone in such as this.
Harmonica is a good one. I mean, Evil Flute, but, like, we have to say the actual word for
Evil Flute.
Harmonica does roll off the tongue, and it's not necessarily, like, a turn off of a word. May I offer you, at work we were talking about this, and so we were in food aisles talking about the perfect safe word, and the words balsamic and the words arugula were two that were presented. Judge these.
People like salads. Salads and vegetables.
People like salads?
Put a little balsamic on the arugula and you've got yourself.
Well, I think balsamic is a little gross of a word.
It is. Arugula is easier to say also.
I like arugula. Hilarious to say. Arugula, arugula, arugula.
Arugula.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna get me into the witch's rap now.
Ina, I want one from you.
Yes, Ina.
You want one from me?
Yes.
Oh, well, okay. I've never in my life thought about this at all.
Now's a good time.
Now's the time.
The first random word that came to my head was paprika.
Paprika might be a little hard to say.
Well, poop to you then.
Oh, you don't get to give out poops. That's my thing.
Prestidigitation.
Wow, we're really getting into hard words. Fine.
I have a very high vocabulary. I'm sorry.
I mean, see, my problem is I am prone to, like, saying stupid stuff if I start talking at any point. Like, so I don't trust myself. Like, I feel like if I had a safe word, I might start thinking about conversations that led to that safe word just because it's in my head in case I need it. So it's like, if the safe word was harmonica, I might just start thinking like, wow, harmonica music would be so funny right now. Wouldn't that be interesting? Blah, 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 blah. And then, like, I'd want to share this information that popped into my head.
And you would end anything that was going on.
Yeah, see, so I think I have a hard time with...
So Amy needs something boring, like taxes.
You know, here's the thing. Yeah, taxes. Taxes is a good one. Because who's going to talk about fucking taxes? Or accountant?
Hey, there are many accountants who probably think that that's very sexy.
Well, they're wrong.
I don't think any accountant thinks their job is sexy.
Math is not sexy. There's nothing about math that is sexy. Math people are dead to me.
Here we go again, offending the math.
Although I do appreciate that there are people that do that for a living so that I don't have to do it at all.
True. And in that way, it is sexy. In the way that I don't have to even think about doing it because someone else will. Sexy.
That is sexy. Taxes.
Yeah, see, that's good. Except that might turn me off too much, I think.
Oh, I'm not a magician, Amy.
Well, that's the point, isn't it?
No, the point's not to turn me off.
Amy, I don't know how any of this works.
Well, the safe word means stop what you're doing, and it's going to turn you off a little bit, but it's fine.
Yeah, but you don't want to be like, stop what you're doing, and by that, I mean all of the sex. Are you just being like...
Well, maybe you do. It depends on the scenario.
Okay, so I guess you have to have levels of safe word.
This is the highest level, would be taxes.
Highest level taxes.
Means get off me.
Taxes is, I've changed my mind. This is not working for me.
Go make me a sandwich.
Marissa.
Yes.
Hey, men can do it too.
Everyone can make a sandwich.
And if they don't know how, they should learn.
They should start practicing, yeah. I like this. This was a good question.
Maybe a lighter safe word that is not the highest level would be sandwich.
You know, sandwich could be. Sandwich might be the be-all, end-all because it might be like, this is so bad, I just need you to leave and make me a sandwich to make up for this.
That's true.
Experience that you've just given me.
A good sandwich can change a lot of things.
It could.
Save a relationship, make a sandwich.
Save a horse, ride a cowboy. Everybody says, save a relationship, make a sandwich.
Take those grabby sticks and make a sandwich.
If you've listened to this episode and you've thought, I have the perfect question, I'd love for the Fess Girls to discuss this. Guess what? There's ways for you to do it. Go to our Instagram, @FessUpPodcast. That's how most people have been sending us questions. You can comment the question on our photos. You can send it to us in a message. You can do all the stuff. You could also tweet it at us at @FessUp_podcast. Our hashtag is UbFest, which you could use that anywhere you use hashtags. We have a Facebook page. You could post it on there. I think that's also Fess Up Podcast, but it's Fess Up, the page. You'd know when you found it. If you want to email your question to us, it's thefessuppodcast@gmail.com. It's a good way to do it. But the most important thing, whether or not you have a question, is that you spread this show like wildfire. We are a wildfire show, and we must be spreaded as such.
We need more people discussing these questions. They're important.
We do. I want you guys to tweet at us and message us and do all the stuff about what has happened when you've asked these questions. Let us know what's happened when you've asked the questions. Let us know how many friends you have gotten to listen to the podcast because you asked them these questions. Get friends to listen to the podcast, friends. Okay? That's the most important part. Spread the word. We can only keep doing this show if you guys let the world know how awesome it is. Okay? That's what I got to say about that. Spread the word. Tell your friends. Subscribe or download our podcast anywhere you can. We have a YouTube channel, too, where we put up the podcast. If that's your thing, or if your friend's like, I don't know what's the podcast, be like, boom, it's also a YouTube video. Checkmate. Haha. So, there's that. I'm just kind of going. Does anybody else want to say anything about this matter? I will talk forever.
Nope, that sounds good to me.
All right, well, tell your friends. Subscribe to the podcast. Keep listening. Keep sending us questions. We love you. I want to use my safe word with you. Actually, no, I don't. I don't want to have to use my safe word. But I want you to love me. Okay, then that's that. That has been our show. See you next week for another episode of Fess Up. As always, I have been Amy.
I'm Marissa.
And I'm Ina, a human disaster.